Hey there. Okay, let's get this started. If you can hear music in the background, it's because I'm listening to, here, let me show you this. It's free Code Camp Radio, chill tunes you can code to, no ads. Pretty cool. Um, I'm pretty okay with the music, but I thought that it was like maybe it's copyright free, maybe not actually. Thought it might be safe to stream too, but you might not be able to hear it anyway, so it's not a big deal. Um, Besides, from what I can see, that nobody's here anyway, so that makes it even easier. Wave. Um, hey, some people are here. Cool. So anyway, what I'm going to be working on is I've got this component, and it's pretty neat. Here, let me widen this a little bit. Oops. Here we go. Yeah, so it supports a couple neat things. We use this in some places here at PayPal, and we need to reuse this in a couple other places. So let's see. This is the way that it's currently designed, and I think that I've mostly replicated that. Maybe I think I need to fix the $sign or the currency symbol, but other than that, it's mostly replicated. That maybe the caret before the this was an icon, but I made an SVG because those are better and smaller and other reasons. But as long as it like mostly matches this, that's what it how it exists today. It also, there's a variant that it has where it looks like this a little bit, not a little bit. I screenshotted this, so that's what it looks like. And right now, we're doing some like inline styles and and other things to make it do both, and it's based off of an experiment and stuff. But we're going to use this in a different part of the app, and we want it to look like this in that part of the app. And I'm assuming they want this to actually be centered. So I'm gonna make sure that's the case, because if I use this Euclid thing, I don't even remember where I got this, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's about 315 across, and on this side that's going to be, yeah, more. So it's not actually centered, but I'm pretty sure they want it centered, so I'll make sure it is. And so anyway, we're supporting 3 variations of the same component, and we could probably do this pretty easily with CSS, and that's probably how I do it. Is just have like a different class applied based off of the kind you want, like a theme or something. But I decided that styles change a lot, and or designs change like pretty frequently, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna want to use this component in different ways, make it look different, and I don't want to have to keep updating it in this place to support every single variation that we ever come up with. And so that's why I want to switch this to use render props. And then also I need to make sure that it matches those. But for my live streaming in the next hour or so, I'm going to be doing moving this over to render prop. So somebody just asked me a question: why am I importing NaN from Lodash? Yeah, I'm not going to go into that right now. But you can look up isNaN, like built in. It doesn't always do what you think it does. And maybe I should be, because there's like number.isNaN, and then there's regular isNaN as well, and they like behave a little differently. So yeah, maybe like one of them would be fine, but this is actually existing code that I slightly modified. So I'm not sure what things they bumped in, whoever built this in the first place bumped into when they decided to use isNaN. The app where this came from already had Lodash in it, so maybe that's like they were just like, oh, we'll just use isNaN from Lodash. Maybe it really doesn't matter. But for right now, well, it looks like we're just doing a number constructor. So maybe number like foobar, and then we'd say isNaN. Yeah, maybe this would be okay. I actually don't know the intricacies of or the like. I have learned about the problems of isNaN before, but I don't remember what they are. So that's not what we're gonna look into. Well, I'm just gonna get rid of it. I don't like it either, and just use the global isNaN. It's probably fine. Yeah, let's just be a little more educated about what this is isNaN versus number isNaN. Yeah, so somebody just posted this here. I'll bring this over. So this is what the Lodash one is. It's the only value that's not equal to itself. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's seems pretty simple. And it's not going to add a whole lot of code, so I'll leave things as they are. Okay, neat, cool. So let's move on to the render prop stuff. So let's see. Let's just clear things out really quick. So where this is actually Storybook, and I've got my story right here. Using React component, one of my favorite components ever, especially good with Storybook, because yeah, I just want to have something I can set state and hold my state for me. So we have the single amount field. That's what this thing is. Pulling that from my examples. The reason that's coming from examples is because it has some pre-filled props in here. Get formatted value was originally built into the component, but that used this localization library called Griffin, which would format the value based on the currency. And that was like, it's a huge library. So I decided I didn't want to distribute it. Anybody who's using this is probably going to end up using that library anyway, so they can just provide this get formatted value. It's pretty small. But other than that, it's just a couple things here. And so I'm just using that so I can have some default props, and my story can be a little simpler. But we in here are going to want to provide a render prop API, and I'm going to use the children prop because I like it better. So yeah, so let's go ahead and well, actually, so what I really want to do is, rather than forcing everybody to use, well, no, we'll do that later. We'll just implement the render prop API right here, and then we'll make it a little easier later. So cool. Our goal here then is to have a render prop API where the rendering responsibility is right here in our usage, but the end result looks exactly the same. So let's do that. We're gonna do, well, and sometimes I would like use TDD and go all over on this, but no, not today. I'm not gonna do that today. We're just gonna use Storybook driven development. Okay, so basically we're gonna take this render and all the way here. We're gonna replace that with this.props.render I don't know, JSX. Okay, we're gonna keep all these calculations and things. Yeah, some of those will probably need to go into whoever's calling this. So render JSX will return that stuff. Okay, so now we are missing some things. Some of these things are like class names and all that stuff. So I think for the class names, the input width we still want, and the select width we still want. So let's see. But the class names will definitely be a responsibility of the person rendering. Oh, and we're not going to do props yet. Gonna pull all of these here. I'm just wondering about the input styles. Those probably need to be the responsibility of the user also. And so we're gonna just pull these into render JSX as well, and just go and fix linting problems. So we're gonna get some of these things as options here. So is valid, and input width we'll want to pass. Input font size. Now let's see, where's that coming from? Oh, okay. Yep, that makes sense. Input font size, because the font size will change based off of like how wide it is and stuff. So, so that's the responsibility of the component. Is invalid. Now that I think is also, yeah, it's coming from state, and hide cursor is invalid, hide cursor. Let's see, what else are we, wait, what? Oh, that's flow, annotation problem. Okay, that's fine. Defined but never used. Oh, is valid. It's never used. Okay, I think I'm meant to do is invalid there. Currency symbol is not defined. Currency symbol, where is that coming from? From props. Okay. So that's actually one thing that we don't need to provide, because the users are going to have that. They're passing us the props, so they'll have the currency symbol. Let's see. Yeah, from the currency code, because they have the currency code, they have the currency symbol map, so they can provide us with that. So I'm going to leave that as a responsibility of render JSX. And so somebody asked what this component is supposed to do. It's supposed to look like these three things, and it just allows you to type stuff in and change the currency. That's pretty much, it's pretty small. But the reason we're doing render props is because it's supposed to look like a bunch of different things, and more than that, it's probably going to change in the future. And so I just want this component to be ready for those design changes. Okay, so we don't need the value here apparently. Currency symbol is not defined. Okay, so we still need to get the currency symbol, and so we'll do that. Here, let's see. Currency code list. So this is probably something we could actually do for them. It's just like a convenience, because even downshift actually provides a couple like convenience, a couple things that are provided to it from props. It just like provides that in addition, just as a convenience. And so maybe this could be a little handy convenience thing too, where we'll calculate a currency code list that you can use to render the options. That would make sense. And we could also provide the currency symbol. So yeah, we'll do that. Symbol, currency code list. Formatted value, definitely going to need that, formatted value. And the currency symbol map, what is that being used for? Oh. Okay, it's just being used to determine whether or not we should even show this. So we could actually do this currency code list instead. Currency code could also be provided as a convenience. And select width will need to be provided also, because that will be calculated every render. And hide cursor is also some state. Wait, I thought I had hide cursor. Oh, it's assignment never used. Oh. Oh, it's because, wait, what? Oh, now we're getting into problems in here. Cool. Okay, so we get rid of that. Well, actually, no, we're going to want to keep that for now, because we're going to be starting to pass some things. So I'm going to need to do this eventually anyway, when I turn this into a render prop. So we're going to type this out. I don't want to save this yet because it's going to bork up this thing. So I'll just format it manually. And then I'm going to write my flow types here. So formatted value is a string, input width is a number, input font size is a number, is invalid is a boolean, hide cursor is a boolean, currency symbol is a string, currency code list is an array of strings. Oh, wait, string array. I think that's how you do that. I'm still learning flow. Currency code is a string, and select width is a number. Okay, so that is useful because now when I call this, I can get warnings. So I make sure I get everything. So we're gonna have, actually, let's just do this, because I didn't rename anything. I didn't really remove anything, so I'll just copy, paste. Currency code list. Okay, I must be doing something with flow wrong here. Oh, it's an array of something. Oh, it's an array of strings. Right? It's an array of something. Let's find out. It's an array of, yeah, string codes. So I don't know how to do that. Maybe it's string. Oh, you know what? I think it's because I don't type it strictly up here. There we go. Hey, that's cool. And does this still work? It did like hot reload, but I don't trust hot reload sometimes. Cool. Neato. Okay, so that's the first step of render props, is just make sure that it works the first time, and like just make as little changes as possible, make sure that it's still working. So the littlest change was to make it a member property so I could still access this, which we're doing in several places. Hi there. And so now we're going to remove that, or we'll just move this as a regular old function. So we'll get rid of it here. Then we'll go down here and make a function. Paste that. And then instead of calling this render.jsx, we'll just do render.jsx. And then we have to look for all the this.props and this.stuff to handle all those cases. Yeah, we're getting a bunch of scary stuff. So let's just start at the very beginning here. So we'll get, well, if it's coming from props, then we don't actually need to worry about it, because in our case we're going to be here. Let's see, actually, font family is that used? Yeah, okay, it's used to, so we have to tell when the font is loaded to know, or to do our measurement. So if you notice, I refresh, well, actually can't show you now because everything's broken, but if we don't wait for the font family, or make sure that the font family is loaded first, or the font that's applied, then we don't know the correct measurement for like whether or not we can measure correctly, because the font can change the width, and we need to be able to set the width based off of like how many characters they have in there. So we're doing this is font loaded magic thing to check whether the font is loaded. So we do need to know the font family via props, but in this case with the input styles thing, I'm not going to, here, let's see, I'm trying to think, because like users of this component, when we actually have a full render prop API, they will be able to provide or to reference their own use of font family. So we won't need to get this here. So what I'll do is I'll just inline it, inline the value for now, and then we'll fix that later. Okay, cool. So that's this dot props show condensed UI. Okay, this is actually kind of annoying. It might be easier to implement this or to skip a step. So normally I'd like fix it so it would work this way and then do this dot props, but no, that's not what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is this dot props dot render JSX, and we'll go up here in our props here, we'll have a render JSX, and that is going to be a function that is called with our, and we're not going to call it render JSX, or we're actually going to call it children, and that's going to be a function that returns React element. Let's see, it's React dot element. I think that's right. I don't know. Let's see. Import type React or element from React. Maybe it's node. I don't really know. Just guessing. No. Oh, I think it needs a type, but we don't care about what type it is. I think it's just node. I do not work in Python. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, there we go. So children return is a function that returns a node, and this is going to be our state and helpers, and the typing for that is already defined right here. Stick that there. Okay, yeah, stuff's like totally borked, but we'll figure this out here in a second. This dot props dot render, that function, and it's missing in props. No, it's not. It's right there. Oh no, it's children. That's right. There we go. See, flow saving the day. Okay, so now I'm going to make a function component called base, or say amount field v1, or I guess that's v3 technically. And this is going to render the, what is it? I don't even know what this is called. Single amount field. Hey, thank you. Somebody complimented my haircut. Somebody also asked me about the get props pattern. So there is a blog post, prop getters. Yeah. So this is where I explain what prop getters are. We might use prop getters in here. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out. Okay, so we're going to render the single amount field. We're going to have some props. We're going to pass all those props. And then we're going to also pass, we're going to use children, actually. And that is going to be our render function. That's basically could be this. Actually, it's not going to be lambda expression. We're going to do a full-fledged function thing here. And we'll pull all of this in there instead. Okay. And we'll save that, get formatted, and hopefully it's not broken. It looks like it kind of is a little bit, maybe. Oh, forgot to return. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, then we can go find all the this.props stuff. And just use props. Okay, cool. And now, lots of these props yeah, lots of these things. Oh, okay, no, that one needs to be used there too. I am assuming that several of these props are actually that we had before were actually UI only props, like the render function only props, and so we can actually remove those from the prop types, but I'll deal with that later. So let's see, what we're gonna do actually is I'm gonna pull this out into a different file called, let's see, I'm actually gonna change it to v1.js. Or amount field v1.js. We'll come up with better names later. And export default amount field v1. And we'll import React from React and import single amount field from index. And oh, we're gonna need class names. And yeah, the rest of this is isLint relating to prop types validation. So, and then we also have some event handlers and stuff, and this is where we're going to get into prop getters. So yeah, we'll definitely be using prop getters. Looks like this also is the only thing that uses the arrow icon, so let's pull this over. Oh yeah, we need flow. Okay. So also this is going to export type props as single, or we'll just export it props. And then in here we can import type props as single amount field props from there, and then we'll say our type props is that and this. I think that's right. I actually don't really know. we'll say props. Cool. Hey, look at that. Cool. Then in our stories, we're gonna have v1. Rename that to v1. Then we're gonna import v1 amount field. Okay, mount field v1 base v1 amount field. Okay, so we'll render it with some of these default props, and this will be v1 amount field. Okay. So we're getting an ESLint error that says React is defined but never used, and that's one of my favorite things. I'm in a React component, but I'm actually not using React because I'm using render props and I don't render anything. So don't need that. Also don't need this here, which is kind of cool. And maybe I should refresh. Boy, I have a sinus infection, and so like my body's really tired of dealing with sickness. Yeah, so I'm just exhausted. So if I sound really tired, that's I am actually very tired. Okay, so now what we've changed so far is our base component now is still in charge of lots of event handlers and things like that, but it's no longer in charge of rendering. It does a couple of things in the render method to calculate some stuff based off the current state, mostly as helpers to the children, but the children, who, like whatever that function is, doesn't have to care about what the select width is or what the input width should be. Those are just suggestions. Yeah, I remember writing that line of code. I don't remember what it was. I probably should have wrote a comment. So anyway, how's my dog? She's cute. Yeah, maybe the format. Oh no, I need the formatted value to calculate the sizes. So yeah, cool. So that's what we've got so far. Now there are some event handlers that are messed up, and we also have some errors here. Handle input change. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. So we have a couple instances of this dot in here, and every single one of those needs to be in a prop getter. So let's do that. Let's group these together first. Actually, the value could also be in the prop getter. The fact that it's required could be in the prop getter. No, that wouldn't make any sense. This could be in the prop getter. The name, no. Direction, I guess that could be in a prop getter. Let's see. Props input color. Can't remember what the use case for that was, but I think that we don't need that anymore, or we don't need to put that in a prop getter. The input styles, yeah, we could put that in a prop getter just Just because it's in a prop getter doesn't mean that it absolutely has to be that way, but we'll compose things together for you so that you don't have to worry about it. Class name, this is coming into styling and stuff, so we're not actually going to put that in a prop getter. The type we want keyboards on phones to pull up just numbers, so that that's why we're doing that. The key, actually that can go away. We used to render these as an array and then render that array, and I refactored that because that didn't make sense to me. Read only, that could be in a prop getter. Yeah, so most of this, all of these can be in a prop getter. Cool. Yeah, so somebody's asking me about the data Nemo. We use this functional testing tool that PayPal built called Nemo, and that's for that. The data test ID, I probably should just be using data Nemo for my tests, but I'm using data test ID with the React testing library. Yeah, probably should just use one. This is one of those things where I'm like, oh man, I wish I hadn't shown that on a stream. I'm not a perfect developer. But anyway, that's what that's all about. So these are the things that renderers, people rendering our component can provide themselves. These are things that pretty much every usage of this component is going to want, and we will turn that into a prop getter. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back and right somewhere around here. We'll do it right here. Get state and helpers. And we'll return an object. Actually, yeah, we'll deal with that in a second. And then here we'll say get input props. And this is going to be called outside of our control, so we'll make it a public class field. That's pre-bound method, and this is going to return the props we want to apply. Whoever's rendering us, we want them to apply these. I wish I had an editor plugin that would convert JSX to JavaScript, because that would be really nice. But I don't, so we're gonna do that. Well, here, let's do these ones first. And these ones. And yeah, that's it. Okay, and then we're gonna pluck a couple things off. So I'll just destructure and spread or rest those, and then we'll do props. Okay, so the input styles, since that's the thing that's screaming at me right now, we'll get those here. The input width is calculated in our render method. So this is where things get a little bit tricky and a little bit on the hacky side, but it's actually not a big deal. So the way we had things before was we'd calculate the input width and then we stick it in here. And actually, now that I think about it, we could actually calculate the input width, because the only thing that really cares about the input width is our input props. Like, I can't imagine a situation where we need the input width anywhere else. Yeah. So maybe in the future we can change things, but right now we're just going to move that calculating stuff over. Here, we'll actually take all this. Except for that formatted value thing. This isn't actually, oops. So yeah, that's gonna be in, okay, yeah, so we can actually calculate the formatted value here also. So we don't even need to pass those, which is even better. Cool. So now I go up here and that's what I'm going to use. The value is coming from props. The currency symbol is, let's just copy this. And get rid of that. Okay, cool. I should have probably done the prop getters first before I tried to extract the render JSX function. I should have just done the prop getters right then. That would have made things easier. Okay, cool. So I can get rid of this thing. And this is yelling at me because flow is mad. And flow is mad because oh yeah, children. There we go. So we don't pass that, or that anymore. And so now it's just mad because I'm not doing anything here. So we'll just say, hey, that's going to be an object of some kind. And maybe we can add some types to it here in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to remove the font family from the input. Or no, here we go. This .props.font family. That'll work. This can be props again on this. Man, I don't know what that input color thing's all about. I'm pretty sure it's not necessary though. So, or at least it's not necessary for this thing to be in charge of that. And then this is going to be, oh, whoops, HTML input element. So good. And now we're going to do a couple of things here. We need to, so the reason that we do a prop getter is so that here we can, let's do get input props. We're going to stick that in here. So this dot get input props. Here, actually, let's do equals this. Oops. We can use shorthand there. And then inside of here, I'm going to actually pull these out. And actually pull all this stuff out. And these things I will move. And get rid of that. Okay, cool. So now, with that, I can call children with this dot get, or yeah, it was get state and helpers. Cool, and then I can get rid of all this stuff. Okay, render method's very small now. So the so now the amount field v1 is going to be getting a couple different things that it was getting before. It's going to get input props. Oh, whoops. It's a function that we call later and apply to our input. So we'll do get input props. And then we'll call it with any props that we want to have applied. So one of those props is the style prop here, where we do this. Okay, my computer's starting to cry. Style. But we don't have the input styles anymore. But we do still want to merge those, but the input styles are now calculated inside the component, not inside the user of the component. And so this is where prop getters is great. And I'm not sure what's so making this thing so angry. Zoom out field element. It's missing object type. Get input prop swept. Oh, in my children. This is not a side project or open source. This is actually work stuff. So this is going to be a function that returns an object. Yeah. And it takes an object, returns an object. It's not very helpful, but I mean, it's props. It could be a lot of things. Okay. There we go. That's better. Okay, so yeah, now it's still complaining about other stuff. So the we want to apply a style on it, but we also want to compose our custom styles with the styles that the original amount field wants to apply to our input. So that's why we use a prop getter, so that our prop getter can be responsible for merging the styles together. So one of the things we want to merge is the styles. Is it styles or style? Yeah, style. And then here, when we do input styles, we will actually merge them together. Whoops. And now we can supply a style if we want to. So let's do style as an object. Yeah. And now it's going to merge for us. And we'll do the exact same thing for all of these, because we don't know whether or not the input wants to compose our class name. Maybe it wants to apply its own class name. And so we'll move this into here, and we'll do that. And then it can compose, maybe it doesn't. In our case, it actually doesn't, but it's nice to just put everything in here, and then the prop getter can take care of all that for us. So we're gonna do that, and oops. And we'll do this, and let's put that in quotes, in quotes, in quotes. Okay, cool. So now the prop getter doesn't actually care about any of those props, but it does care about putting some other things together. So the nice thing is that like we don't need to compose read-only, but if they wanted to override read-only, they just pass read-only as a prop to our prop getter, and it will get overwritten. So we are composing. But we need to compose at other levels, like this on change and on focus, on click. If they wanted to provide their own handlers for these things, then we need to provide a mechanism for them to do that. And that mechanism is this compose thing that I'm about to pull out. Will this stream be a video on demand later? Yeah, so I actually don't know how to do video on demand with Twitch. They like limit my video recordings to 2 weeks, and then they delete it. And I don't know if there's a way to like extend that or anything, but what I normally do is if I like a stream, then I'll put it on my YouTube channel, which I will give you a link to right now. It's kcd.im/YouTube. Okay, so we're gonna go to downshift, utils. I'm gonna borrow a utility that has been very helpful, and it is called, what is it called? Oh, I missed it. Compose event handlers. Should probably be called something else because it's not really a compose function. It's more of a like call all event handlers. So maybe that's what I'll call it in here. So we're gonna go to our utils. We'll just put it right here and call all event handlers. Okay, and instead of prevent downshift default, we'll do prevent pp amount field default. This is probably like too flexible because I don't expect we'll ever really need that, but since it's already here, there we go. And if there's the function exists, and that, and we will expose this. Okay, cool. Oh, whoops, Flow got angry at me for a second. This is going to be an HTML event, or not it's just an event, I guess. And this is going to be anything. I don't really care. It's going to be a function void. I don't know how to do that. Maybe that's right. Yeah, okay, it really could be anything, and I don't really care what it is, so I'm just gonna say flow fix me. Nope, don't want to do that. We'll just leave the warning as it is. It's an event, and it could have this property. Boolean. No arguments. Oh, well, goodness gracious. Okay, so event and well, I've never done anything quite like this before, but it looks like it's accepting that. So there you go. Here, I'm just gonna isLint ignore flow type no weak types. Yeah, that's what's getting mad at me, is isLint, not Flow. Flow's like, okay, I just won't do anything here. isLint is getting mad. Okay, cool. So with call all event handlers, now we can go up here and pull that in from, oh, well, we've got utils as the namespace. So we're gonna pull on change, on focus, on click, on mouse down, and on mouse up. And then we can say, let's see. Yeah, util, actually, here, let's do multiple cursors here because I don't want to do this. So it'll be utils dot call event handlers, and then, oh, actually, copy this, that thing, and then our thing. Synthetic input event. Well, rats. So what it's complaining about is, hey, you said that this was an event. You're calling it with an event, but here, this is actually expecting a very specific event that is a synthetic input event. And that's not what you're giving me. You're giving me any kind of event. Well, bother. It's a generic thing. Okay, fine. This is what I'm gonna do. And just like throw away all guarantees that I have. Yep. Okay. Well, that made it happy. But it's so cheating. It's not good. But I don't know what to do. Maybe if I was using ReasonML. Okay, so this is getting angry at us because we're not typing these, so we can type these. This is a function, or actually it's a weak type. Let's do something a little bit more useful. And it's going to get past a synthetic, what is it? HTML, synthetic something. Input event. There we go. Maybe with that it would actually work. No, it wouldn't. Well, maybe. Let's just see what happens if I go away, please. Nope. Yeah, now it just got worse. Okay. Boo. Okay. Cool. So now we're composing, and in here, if I wanted to add on change, then I could add an on change, and it would call both of them, the one that my base component wants to call and the one that I want it to call. So flexible there. If you want to well, I said that already. Okay. Okay, now the ref. So the problem with using ref right now in React is if you apply a ref to a composite component, what you're going to get back is an instance to that component, which is not very useful in this scenario because I want a reference to the DOM node. So what we're going to do is, like right now it's not a big deal because I'm rendering a straight up input. But if I wanted to render like a glamorous component or something like that, then I'd need that underlying component to accept the ref as another key, so that the glamorous, the way that glamorous does it is if you're using a glamorous component, you do inner ref, and then it will forward that on, and then you can use that just like a ref. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have ref key, it's a string, and ref key, and this will default to ref, and then ref key. There we go. So that handles that, and I think that's it for things that we need to do some special composition stuff. So everything else should be pretty flexible for the input. Cool. So now, excuse me. Okay, this currency symbol, it's actually only used in one place, so we could put that in a prop getter. That'd be like the only thing. I guess the font family too. Need coffee for Dodds. Ah, that's so nice of you. I actually don't drink coffee, but thank you for thinking of me. Sometimes I just like sit and stare at my computer, and I should be like talking about what I'm thinking, but I'm not sure. What I'm thinking right now is I don't think that I need a prop getter for this, so I'm not going to make one. We'll just leave that as it is. This tooltip thing, the handle tooltip quick. Yeah, I gotta look at that. I actually don't even know. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna leave that as a responsibility of the user, not even have this in here at all. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take this, cut it out. And in here, get rid of this thing. There. And instead of this dot props, we'll just use props. Cool. Then we don't need to worry about that in our own component. We can get rid of that. See, this is the cool thing about the render prop pattern, is it's the number of props you can just totally remove. Because they are associated with rendering, or like this show condensed UI thing, it's not used anywhere in here. It's just a rendering responsibility, so we can actually get rid of this. And then the renderers are responsible for that. I'm not going to do that quite yet. And that show first time user tip thing, that's coming from props. Oh, that's why. Yeah, that's interesting. So here, let's pull these out, both of these, and we'll come up here and add it to this. Okay, and we can get rid of this now, which is cool. Okay. So then the currency code list, input width is not defined. Ay caramba. I think I have duplicate type definitions. Yeah, this get input props. I wonder if I could remove this from here and put it here instead. Okay, well, it was worth a shot. So what I'm going to do instead here is we'll do get input prop, or input props. We'll make a type called input props. And then we'll reference that in our get input props function here. Okay, good. But handle select change, undefined, cannot read property, handle select change. What? Where's that happening? Single amount field render object.children. Oh, whoops. Handle select change. It's probably right here. That's probably what's going on. Okay. So let's separate these. Those are all good regular props. Is currency read only? Yeah, so that's a render only concern, so we'll leave that. But this one could be composed, this could be composed, and that. Okay, so this will all be get select props. What editor is this? It's Atom. I'll give you a link to where I talked about that. Okay, so get select props, that's going to be, oh sweet, don't need currency code anymore. Get select props. Now we're going to get angry flow. So let's here get select props. which we'll pull from this. And children will be passed get select props, return object, and select props, type select props equals this thing. And let's see, where was it? Right here. Before anybody asks, that was Alfred, and I have the power pack, and it has really amazing features, and you should get it. Okay, so the value is going to be a string. This is going to be a function. It's actually like basically like this one, except input select. Yep. And then this one is going to be like, oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. So I've got a ref key. That's what it'll be. String. Oh, actually, we do want a ref, because if we both want refs, so this will be here, ref. Huh. Oh, key. There we go. Okay. And it returns void. Let's do this for all the, oops. Event. Just keep those two together. Do I run tests, unit tests as I write code? Often I do, but not when I'm doing UI. Not as much anyway. If I'm doing like utilities and stuff, yeah, normally. Or like tools, node tools stuff. But when I'm doing UI stuff, things are changing so fast. Like to me, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I could see myself doing it. I can think of ways that I might do it to be effective, but yeah, I don't. Because the thing is that I have to make so many code changes just to make any valuable change it, or like to get any valuable input out of my tests anyway, that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I do have Flow and ESLint running, and so as you can see, I'm keeping those updated and stuff, and they help a lot. But yeah, like I haven't even gotten to the point where I can even poke around at the UI, let alone run tests that'll actually work. So, okay, so get select props here. Okay, yeah, now I need to define this method. And so get select props. It's going to be an object, or yeah, it's going to do some stuff. It's going to return this object, and I have it in my clipboard, this thing. Those are the actual values. Okay, so this is going to be a node here, and actually let's just destructure out props. We're going to take ref and a ref key, and this actually should also be pulling out a ref. And this utils call all. These aren't event handlers, so we're going to do things a little different. Ref. I'm going to add a utility, utils, just down here. This one's even easier. Actually, I think I'll just grab it. Pose. Oh, that's right. I actually got rid of it. How am I doing the ref composition thing then? It looks like yeah, you can't compose things. Oh, that's right. I only have it in one place anyway. Huh. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna do it here. So we'll say function, call all functions, and that's gonna be any, can take anything, and return void. Have any number of those, and I'll return a function that takes args. It's anything, and functions dot for each function. I should have copy pasted. It's basically the same function. So if the function exists, then we'll call a function with the args. There we go. Call function that calls all given function with the given arguments, or that returns a function which calls all the given functions with the given arguments. And this would be, I don't care about that. I have flow. Okay. And just return void, make that explicit. Oh wait, no, it doesn't return void, it returns a function which is typed, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Yes, practical route. That is what I like to try and do. I'd like to think that I take a practical route. Okay, let's see. So now we've got our ref key. Yeah, there's call all. Wait, what? I think I mistyped something here. Oh, there we go. Well, that's odd. Compatible with undefined. Boo. Whenever I have a problem with flow, it's normally because I don't know how to use flow. Can't use because the HTML element, which is right here, this thing, is incompatible with undefined. Well, golly gee, I don't know what to do about that. Except maybe flow fix me. Magic. I don't know. I don't know what to do about these highly loosey-goosey things. Probably not use them. I guess that's probably the solution. Okay, select props. Here we're gonna do, and why is it C? L. Okay, utils.call all ref and my own ref. Okay. And we're gonna do, I actually need to extract this out. Select ref. Equals that function. And that is gonna be HTML select element. And this dot select ref, we'll do the same thing up here. This dot input ref. I'm gonna move this one down below the prop getter. Is that gonna yell at me for, wait, what? Oh. Yeah, same reason, I guess. Okay. Yep, okay. Cool, then the currency code, where did that come from? From props. This.props.currency code. Let's spread these props across whatever's left. On change, we want to compose those. Utils.call all event handlers on change, handle select change. Okay, neat. I think, let's see, was there anything else? Hey, oh, rats. I didn't think it was all finished. Yeah, I guess that was it. So I need the ref, value, and on change. Handle that. Okay. Neat. I think that's it. Cannot read property ref of undefined. We're calling it, yeah, this needs to be, I don't remember if I put it here or, I guess I put it here. Oh, rats. This happens sometimes and it's super, super annoying. I'm not sure why this happens, but we're gonna do this. Call all of this props. We'll destructure this. We'll call this rest. We'll annotate it that way. This is a flow bug, I think, that you can't destructure default value and add a type annotation. I don't know why. Though honestly, I don't feel like I need a type annotation. I guess I do, because I already defined the type up above, but I don't know. I'm not very good with flow, that's clear. Okay, so we're gonna want to do the same thing above, right? Why is this different? I feel like I was gonna do something. Oh yeah, I needed to default this to an empty object. That's what I needed. It looks like I'm still doing it wrong. Oops. Okay, hold on a second. Value is an optional thing. Style is optional here. Ref key is optional. Actually, all these things are optional. Goodness. call event handlers with undefined? No. I explicitly check. I guess I have to say or null, or how do I make this a maybe? Maybe? No. Each one of these needs to be maybe. And if I do this, I think I'm probably doing something wrong. No, see, it's grr. What if I do filter Boolean? Is it that smart? Rats. No. Besides, that would make things slower anyway. What just happened? I was not expecting that to happen. But I guess I got it in a working state. Okay, so because this could be undefined, Flow is complaining because it's saying, hey, you said that this is an array of, oh, it's an array of functions, maybe functions, or it's maybe an array of functions. No. I don't know. Okay, flow array of functions or undefined. Okay, so we put this in quotes and put a question mark there. Unexpected token, rats. Or wait. That's not where we want it anyway. We want it on the functions. So that's going to be okay, so this is the whole type. And the we want the question mark here. Okay, cool. Put that there too. And maybe it magically works. Yes! It's probably kind of a confusing type signature though. I wonder if we could type call all functions is this thing. Do you always think of ARIA adders when building components? Do I always think of it? No. Do I try to? Yes. Do I have an ESLint plugin built in that will tell me if I'm doing something wrong? Yes. Is that plugin perfect? No. So I try to be good about it because I think it's important. Okay, cool. Well, we got that little flow hiccup resolved. Now it looks like we actually are rendering something. That's neat. And it looks like it works mostly. So it should be measuring the width of the select. And I can't remember if that's a regression from what I had before or not. But in any case, it looks like it's working better. Or that it's, the fact that it's working at all is a surprise, honestly. Okay, wait. This should be optional. Right? Wait, so why isn't it? Do I? I think that's what you're supposed to do. But then I do that. Or let's see, flow optional argument destructuring. Yeah, this is the error that I think I've run into before. And this is why I have to do the destructuring separate from the type annotation. It's really annoying. I'll give it a thumbs up once. Did I comment on here? Oh, yeah, I referenced it once. Yeah. Yep, I remember this. This is really sad. So that works, but that doesn't. That was kind of annoying. Hi there. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do to make Flow happy about this, so I can make it both an optional argument and destructure it, so I'm gonna call this props. I'm gonna make it optional. I'm gonna say equals props, and there we go. And I'll have to do the same thing up here. So this is gonna be props. Go that equals props. We'll call this rest. So the rest. Maybe I should call it the rest instead. But in any case, now we can make it optional, an optional argument. And we say equals empty object. Neato. Okay, cool. So now Flow is happy. And we're actually rendering. Let's see if we are getting errors. Just a bunch of garbage in here. Let's refresh. Hot module replacement, I'll tell you. Well, that's interesting. Invalid value for prop undefined on select tag. Oh. Right, because I do not default ref key to ref. There we go. Because this is getting evaluated to be undefined. Cool. Great. Hey, so now we actually have a render prop API. Let's just make sure that we're Okay, let's just remove that, put it back. It's still mad. Why? So if I presume, if I pass it an empty object, then it's fine. Huh, so why is it mad if I don't? I say it's optional. Flow, optional argument. Yeah, I think I'm doing it right. It looks like I'm doing it right. It could be that my editor needs to be reloaded. Sorry, when I'm streaming, everything goes super slow. Okay, now we start editing, and then flow will run. Hit the save. Okay, I think my editor's frozen. Maybe I need to kill my editor really quick. Yeah, just see what happens if I quit it and restart it. And open up Atom in my current directory. And merge these two together again. Okay. So, yeah, let's go ahead and look at what part of the single mount field props are actually no longer needed. So we got on change, that's probably needed. Currency decimal. Yep. Currency symbol map. Using that in here. Update font size for the input font size. Yeah, okay. So we need that. Currency code list. Now the currency code list has got me confused. How is the currency code list different from the currencies in the currency symbol map? It looks like, say if, I'll have to check on that one later. Do we need this, or can we get it from the symbol map? Okay, the value, this is a controlled component, so we are going to be accepting the value. And we're using this outside of the render method in the handle change. Yeah, so definitely need that still. Now this one we might not, or we do need, yep, we need this one as well to determine whether we should autofocus. Although, I feel like we could just accomplish this with autofocus. Like the normal way to do it on the web. Okay, so we just refresh. The component mounts. Oh, actually, of course it's going to autofocus. I still have this thing. So we remove that. And actually, in the real world where I would do this is in the prop getter. Oh, but even if we do it in the prop getter, we want to, we'll need to know whether the mount is read-only. Oh, but if they provide the read-only prop to the input, then we know whether to focus. So we'd say autofocus, I think it's autofocus, would be rest.read-only. Well, not that. We can get rid of this, and then in here where we use it, say read only is false. And yeah, and then I commented that out, didn't I? Up here? No, I did not. Let's get rid of that. Okay, now let's just see what happens. I refresh. And does it autofocus? Yes, it does. Cool. So that'll be better. So now if you want it to be read-only, then you apply it to the input. And that makes sense. And that has semantic meaning, right? Read-only. Value dir autocomplete name. Huh. No, I guess it doesn't, but we were applying it anyway. Input HTML read only. Interesting. Oh, it's because I put false. Duh. Okay. So we do true, and then it should not autofocus. So I'll refresh and make sure it does not autofocus. See? Ta-da! Sweet. So that is nice. Oh, and because it's read-only, I can't even select it, so that's doubly nice. Yeah, read-only. Cool. Okay. Oh, but actually, this thing will still want a prop for that. Is mount read-only. Boolean. There. Cool. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And now we can clean this up a little bit. And we can get rid of this. And get rid of that. Okay, then let's just make sure that, oh yeah, we gotta update our input props definition to have a read only. That's optional. That takes a Boolean. Cool. Okay, let's continue. Is currency code read-only? Now this isn't used anywhere. So, great. And let's just make sure that does what we think it is. Put this in here. So it may look like we're just kind of moving things around from where they already are. Oh, did I miss something? Whoops. Line 33. I think I may have moved things around. So if you notice anything else, let me know. But it may feel like we're just like moving things around, and so there's not a whole lot of value added. Where the value will really start to be noticeable is when we make amount field v2, and where things look a little bit different. For all three variations, it actually, like, what is being rendered is the same, and it's just styling that's different. But we could render something entirely different. And that's why we did render props. If it was just styling, then I'd probably just have used CSS. But I think we're going to be iterating on this in the future quite a bit. And so making a base that's a render prop API with the prop getters and everything makes it a lot more flexible for the future when we need to support whatever else we're probably going to wind up supporting. On top of that, we can make this amount field v1, and then we could actually make this like a so we'll have our base that handles the logic, then we'll have our UI rendering component, and then we can build all three versions on top of the UI component that are just responsible for the styling. And so then in the future, if we want to have another version that's just styling different, then we'll use that UI layer that builds on top of the logic layer. So we'll have these little layers that have a clean separation of concerns. The bottom is concerned with just logic, the middle one is concerned with just UI, and the top is concerned with just styling. And then you can pick and choose. So like, yeah, I like this styling, I just want to change the props. You could build something on top of that and have it default to amount read-only or something. Or if you like the way it's laid out, but you want a totally different style, then you use that middle tier, the UI version, and you'll get all the logic benefits. You'll also get the way it's laid out, but you can customize the way it looks. And then if you want to change the way it's laid out, then you can also just be on the base, the logic one. So I'll probably rename my components to reflect that, but that's the real benefit of this render props pattern, is that. So okay, cool. So yeah, still just looking around, making sure that we can whether we can get rid of stuff. Value we need, input color, I think it's totally gone now. So we can move that to here, I think. Input color. Yeah. So we'll do input color. It's a string. And select color is probably the same story. And then show invalid. I think, yeah, this one does make sense. Focus amount field. Yeah, that's to focus it later. So that makes sense too. Okay. Huh, that's interesting. See, I can't remember where all these things are used. So here, let's to find out if this is ever used. Find out this if this is ever used too. Okay, the font family is definitely necessary. I just saw it. Show condensed UI is not here, but I think it is here. And then on focus is no longer necessary, because if somebody wants, yeah, see, this is the prop getters. If they want to handle focus, then they just stick it right on the element that they're rendering for handling focus. Okay, so then here, focus, do on focus. And I remember this one. This one's for analytics. We want to know if they've actually interacted, which is kind of funny now that I think about it because we autofocus. Maybe that's not what this is for. In any case, here actually we got definition for this already. Let's just do this. And then input, we'll say on focus, props.on focus. See, and our prop getter will compose those together so they are all called and we don't need to worry about it. Focus amount, let's see, font family, get formatted value, we definitely need that. And then children. Let's see what of these things we actually, if we do this, we say it has to be this and only this and all of this, I think. Oh, actually, no, that won't tell us what we're actually using, though. Okay, so let's see. Come up here. What in the world? Okay, let's try and run in our npm run flow. Sometimes the editor is messed up. Yeah, see? Weird. Oh, here. Props. There we go. Oops. Cool. Okay. I think that'll solve it. Oh, goodness. Whew. That was silly. Glad we got that solved. Now Flow is going to tell me that we're good. Yeah, great. Okay. So let's just double check. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so one of these things we apparently do not need. Currency symbol, currency code list, currency code. Don't need the currency code. Now that's interesting. Why don't we need the currency code? Oh, because we have the list. And we set the value directly. Yeah, so you don't need the currency code. Cool. Get rid of that. Besides, you provide it to me anyway. Okay. Yeah, right there. Okay, neat. So I'm going to go ahead and commit this as progress because it is 4:30, getting toward the end of the day. I should probably wrap things up. So I think I'm gonna close up shop for now. Render props. Work in progress. Make 3 versions of this with render props. Watch this as my commit hook. Woohoo! So I didn't change any markdown files or JSONless or CSS files, but I did change some JavaScript. So I'm going to format those, I'm going to lint those, I'm going to test those, and this is only applying to the files that were changed. So it'll, oh, those tests are probably going to break actually. Well, maybe not. We'll see. No, they definitely will. Maybe? I hadn't thought about making sure that those would still work. I renamed this, and I'm pretty sure my tests are pulling in the example. Yeah. surprised it's taking so long to break. Well, I know it's going to break, so let's go ahead and let me just make sure that our tests are going to work. Because I think it should still work. This was a pretty straight up refactor, so everything should still work. Whoa, okay, streaming and trying to run my tests apparently is too much. Maybe I'll turn off the music. Maybe that's doing bad things. And maybe Twitter's doing bad things. And maybe Google Inbox is doing bad things. Okay, come on. I'm just gonna get rid of this too. Don't need these. Okay, I've literally gotten rid of everything that I could well, Storybook. There we go. Oh, good. I fixed everything. Great. Okay, now we'll do this, and we'll run that thing again. And we'll let the commit hooks run too, just to make sure that I lint and format everything. Yeah, so while this is running, I'll just run you through what we changed just for fun. So I changed this to the v1 amount field, and that's coming from our examples. And what changed about this is it's using the base v1 amount field, and the base v1 amount field took over rendering. So it's using the single amount field, which was the original like base one that we had before, and it's using a render prop. So it's forwarding all the props. We're getting those props from our example here. All these props are going to be applied to the base amount field. And so it's going to get all those props and forward them on to single amount field. But it also accepts a couple other special props. So it accepts everything single amount field does, but it also accepts some additional ones, which is nice because it's separating concerns. So here are the things, here are the props that we need for logic concerns, and here are the props that we need for visual concerns, which is kind of handy. So then in our render method, this is literally just like, let's pull this from the render method and stick it somewhere else. And the same thing happened with our get input props, all the stuff that's related with the input props. I have an error in the index.js file. What? I think maybe you're watching like delayed or something. I don't know, because I see no errors, but that's okay. Yeah, so we just moved all that to a function that we call, which is kind of handy. This tooltip thing, totally 100% UI concern, not any logic going on here, so we just don't worry about it. Line 45, what's wrong? 45. In index.js, which, maybe it was this one. No, maybe it was this one. 45? Nope. Nope. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Bob's and I don't know how to say that. But anyway, so, oh, you know what? One other thing I should probably do, just in case if in the future we decide we want to compose any of these for you, we'll just do this and this. Oh, and this. That way we could compose the class name if we want to later, and it won't cause any problem. Yeah, and that currency code list. Yeah, okay. You'll tell me if okay. Bob's and Vegan. Bob's Zandvigan. I don't know. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, we just move things around. But next time I do this, hopefully, probably tomorrow, I'll create a mount field v2 where we'll actually keep this structure probably. We'll rename this file to be like ui.js or layout.js or something. And then we'll extract the styling piece to be separate. So all the class names probably is how we'll do that. And then, because yeah, we're just using regular CSS for this stuff, I should show you how that works using the CSS macro thing that runs at build time. Here, check this out. Okay, just gonna take you on a little tangent really quick. So I should probably move this too, but on component will mount, we check the head if our style tag is in there, and if it's not, then we're gonna create a new one, and then we'll append this load CSS styles thing. But this actually is a Babel plugin macros macro, and that is this thing. We have our create macro from Babel plugin macros, and it takes all references to that load CSS thing, and it's gonna load that file and process it with post CSS. And so all that said, at the end of the day, if we look in here in our built library, we do have a couple dependencies in here. Couple bigger than I want them to be dependencies. I need to review those. That's mostly memwise stuff. Maybe we don't need memwise. Yeah, so here we're in our own code. So now right here, I think somewhere around here. There it is. Ta-da! So now that styles append actually appends a string, and that string is our processed CSS. So when this actually gets required by anybody or imported, what they're importing is this built version, this built file that actually has a string of CSS. So they don't need to import or use a style loader or CSS loader or any of that stuff. They just use our component. We're going to stick CSS in the DOM for them. I think that's pretty cool. And it supports right to left, left to right translation stuff too, which is pretty neat. So, yep. So that's how we're doing that. So people don't have to actually like require or import a CSS file. They just use the thing. But I'm gonna move that to this, which is going to become our layout. Well, actually, I'll move that to our different use cases. So we'll have one use case for each of the versions, and you use that, and that component will be responsible for inserting its own styles. And if you don't like those, then you just use the layout component and provide your own styles. If you don't like that, like the way it's laid out, then you use the render, like the very base render prop one. Total flexibility. Okay, so that's that. Looks like this passed, so I'm gonna go ahead and push this. And whoops. And I'm gonna be done. Just wrap up a couple of things before I go upstairs and hang out with my family, and then get ready for my workshop next week in San Francisco. So yeah, testing, something that you didn't see me do today. Not much anyway. So cool, thanks for watching. I hope that was fun for you. It keeps me focused, laser focused on what I'm doing, so it's really good for me to live stream for that reason. And I hope that's helpful. If you're curious, I do have a bowl. That's what that is. It's my lunch. I put it there because I didn't want it on my desk, and I didn't put it on the floor because I have a dog that comes in sometimes. So anyway, it was fun, and I will probably be putting this on my YouTube channel, kcd.im/YouTube, and yeah, hope that's fun. See y'all later.